Hello and welcome back to the Cover 6 podcast. My name is Joah, and today I'm joined by Kyle,
What's up, guys?
Thomas,
How's it going?
Brian,
Yo, what's going on?
and an extra special guest today. We got Jiedel, or James. He's a 2K slash Madden YouTuber. He does rebuilds. Huge Giants fan, and we're here to talk to him about some pretty devastating news. Odell Beckham Jr. traded to the Browns for a first, a third, and Jabril Peppers. James,
Hello.
what was your first reaction when you found out?
Honestly, I was just pretty sad. I feel like I usually don't get really sad over like sports transactions, but this is the first one where I just felt like really kind of upset about it. I don't know, just like emotionally. I wasn't really thinking about like the package we got in return. I was just more sad that we lost Odell.
Yeah, there's a lot of, anger at Dave Gettleman, a lot of hate, and just general sadness from the Giants fan base that I've seen over Twitter, over Instagram, and over YouTube.
Group chats too.
Yeah, Brian, want to talk about what you felt?
See, what happened was I was on Xbox playing, I think it was 2K with my friends, and I get a Twitter notification from Ian Rappaport saying trade. So I'm like, oh, all right. I'm thinking a backup running back is getting traded or something for like a late round pick because he quoted the tweet. He didn't say Odell Beckham is getting traded. He just said trade. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna click on it, see what happens. I just see breaking news: Odell Beckham has been traded to the Browns. This is not a joke. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So then after that, I proceeded to lay on my floor for about an hour, just remembering on Odell's time as a Giant, looking at my Odell poster, taking out my Odell jersey to look at it. Not for the last time, but like for the last time that he would be on the Giants. And all day today, it's just been really depressing. Like, the Giants didn't get a terrible package in return, but it's kind of like that was our team anyway. That was our offense.
I feel like the reason
Saquon.
So devastating was because like we were so bad in 14, so bad in 15. We were all right in 16, like bad in 17, and it was like Odell was like the one guy who gave Giants fans hope during those years, and like we all wanted to see him be a part of like eventual success.
So
Yeah, exactly. And it also doesn't help. Well, I mean, it makes it seem that he's better because before Saquon, he was like the only good first round pick the Giants had in the last 4 or 5 years. So that made it a little extra special, knowing that we got that talent that late in the draft. I mean, 12 for him is a steal. And even though he missed the first 4 games, he had a historic rookie season. He was widely regarded as one of the best receivers in the league already in the second year. I know, but in the second year already, that's pretty amazing. And I just think Giants fans having that kind of player, one that's already top in the league, one that they can hold on to and say, that's my franchise player. No other team can say that that's their player. I think that was special to them, especially like James said, when the teams weren't that good, when they started 0-6, when they started 1-7, we still had that little bright spot to look forward to.
yeah, you guys did beat my Bears last year. I was a little surprised and a little sad by that too.
So now all they have is Saquon. That's it.
Yeah,
That's their little happiness now.
and a good draft pick. I mean, it's up there.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be a quarterback available, but Giants fans, for your future, are you selecting quarterback this year? Do you want to replace Eli this year? Is it time?
I think they're gonna let Eli play out the deal since this is the last year of it, and then they'll have all that cap coming off this next offseason. I heard they're gonna make another big trade today, is what I've heard. So I wouldn't be surprised if they trade for Rosen in some way, shape, or form. But if we don't get Rosen or Haskins, I'll be upset.
That's pretty big news if that does happen because, I mean, Josh Rosen, a year to develop behind a Super Bowl winning quarterback, a 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback, would be very nice for the future of the Giants, especially with Saquon.
One thing that would make this trade a little better for me is if we trade that 3rd round pick that we got from the Browns in exchange for Odell and use that as like a part of a package for Josh Rosen. Because not only would that mean that we got our franchise quarterback, but that would mean that I honestly think we would have won the trade at that point because
If you,
I'm
yeah,
still
that makes
very high on
sense.
Rosen. I think he's going to be the second best quarterback out of last year's class.
So, as a Giants fan, do you rather have Haskins or Rosen? Like, if you get to pick between the two.
For me,
That's a tough one.
in a vacuum, I think I prefer Haskins because I think his pocket presence is a little bit better. I know that was like a knock on him, and I don't watch a ton of college football, but from what I saw, he really improved his pocket presence, which I think is going to be really important. Even with our O-line upgrades, I still think our line's going to be kind of shoddy. So,
Yeah.
but considering Haskins might take the number 6 pick and Rosen might take like a second or a third, I guess I'd rather have Rosen with the context.
Yeah. Also, Josh Rosen just did not look comfortable playing in any sort of NFL type system, even if it was terrible last year. But that's a good point. I mean, Dwayne Haskins really did improve from his first game last year at Ohio State to the end of the last season when he just torched that really good Michigan defense. Going on, aside from if they go quarterback, where should they go at 6 if they don't trade up or down? Should they go offensive line?
No, they should not. If they at 6, if they don't take a quarterback, they have to go defense. They have to go defense. I'd say Devin White or one of those marquee pass rushers that are up there because I think Devin White's going to be incredible. I think he'd be the best linebacker we had in the last decade, probably. I've seen Giants fans try to say that Alec Ogletree was great. Alec Ogletree was terrible.
I've heard that too. I don't know
terrible.
yet. I've heard that. What about a pass rusher like Montez Sweat? Is that someone you're looking at 6?
Probably a little too early.
He moved up a ton after his great combine performance, especially with his speed, his size, and he's looking like one of the top 10 picks right now, I'd say.
I think
Would you reach at 6, or is that not a reach in your opinion?
It's definitely a reach.
I was going to say, it's hard for me to say because I've really only spent my time looking at the quarterbacks because that's like for the Giants, I feel like that's what matters to us. I've been looking at a lot of Rosen, Haskins, and a little bit of Murray. So I feel like I'm not really like kind of qualified to talk about the edge guys in this year's draft.
Yeah, the Giants do have a glaring hole at quarterback because, I mean, who's expecting Eli to go back to his Super Bowl winning seasons when, frankly, he wasn't even that great. The defense was good those years, and the skill position players just stepped it up big time in the playoffs. That 2017 and that 2012 team, or was it 11? Was it 11? Yeah, that 2011 team, they weren't filled to the brink with Eli's. It wasn't Eli's talent that carried them. He played well in the playoffs, but it was really Victor Cruz and in 2011 and the other Hakeem, yeah, I mean Mario Manningham, and when you beat Brady in a Super Bowl, I mean, like that's huge. Like only one other quarterback has ever done that, and he just signed a massive deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was insane. 4 years, $88 million for, in my opinion, a backup QB, Nick Foles.
System QB, definitely system.
A 30-year-old.
That's a little outrageous.
That was. I don't even know what the Jaguars are thinking. I think they're so desperate to get away from Blake Bortles that they'll take anything because their defense is there, their offensive line is there, and their running back is there. They don't have any real glaring holes. They're a little bit weak at wide receiver. But other than that, like, they just really needed quality quarterback play, and they probably could have made the playoffs last year, especially with a, I wouldn't say weak bottom half of the AFC, but certainly not as strong as, yeah, I mean,
as
like
it is now.
previous, now, yeah, because the Browns just decided we're going to shoot up and just pass most teams in Super Bowl odds for next year.
Can I go back to Dave Gettleman real quick? Because I don't feel like we talked about him enough for what he's done for the franchise so far. Might rant a little bit here. Sorry in advance.
It's all good, bro. We expect it.
In less than a calendar year, Dave Gettleman has took a bad situation and made it about 10 times worse. Now, I'm not saying the Giants trade package was bad because if the picks are used right, I think it's a good return. But you got Jabril Peppers, who's a box safety, to replace the best box safety in the league after you let him walk for nothing. And that just makes no sense.
Jabril Peppers is more of a hybrid safety. I wouldn't say he's a box safety. I'd say he can play pretty much anywhere. At times he's a ball hawk, and at times he's,
But
he sits back and
he's nowhere near the level of what Landon Collins was.
No. They should have paid him. That was stupid.
And it confuses me that a guy could let such a high-end player in Landon Collins go for nothing, and then say you're going to keep the best player on your team and a top player at his position in the league, and then 2 weeks later proceed to trade him to replace the position you let walk for nothing. It just
I've heard that Mara forced the trade from
I've
people
heard.
I know who know the Giants.
I saw there was a bunch of miscommunication and disconnections between the front office and the owners. I really don't like Mara at all. I don't think they should sell the team. Obviously, they're not going to because New York market. I believe they're the second most valuable NFL team behind the Cowboys, if I'm not mistaken. So no way
They're up there for sure.
They're going to try to get their value even more up, but it's just I don't know what to think of it. I thought Jerry Reese was a bad GM, but now I'm starting to think that Dave Gettleman might be worse.
How quick is the turnaround? What can you do to get back to relevancy? What can you do to get back to the even 500 record? What can you do to get back to the playoffs? Is now what Giants fans should be thinking, because you lost your best defensive player, you lost your second best offensive player for Jabril.
I don't know if I'd put Saquon over Odell yet.
Okay, well, you lost your best offensive player then. You lost two of your best players. You probably lost your two best players. Top three best players.
I always kind of viewed like NFL teams, like this is a really dumbed down way of looking at NFL teams, but like teams that build around their run game typically are like ball control teams, low turnover. They're gonna have a really good defense, just kind of play lower scoring games. And like if we're trading away Odell and we're beefing up the O line, like maybe that's what the Giants' ultimate 2-year plan is just become a ball control team.
It worked back in 2007.
Would it make sense to draft Haskins then, or would it make more sense to draft Rosen, because Haskins is a?
You mean trade for Rosen?
Or trade for Rosen, yeah. Then draft a defense, yeah, because if you were gonna build around Saquon, which I personally think is what you should do, I would trade for Rosen. But if you're thinking about rebuilding your outside wide receivers, you got a okay piece in Shepard, and
Shepard's not an outside guy. Shepard's a slot.
I know he's just a slot guy, but I meant the wide outs, receivers, whatever. What are you gonna do now? You just traded the heart and soul of your team for a defensive guy, a first-round pick. So now you have 2 first-round picks. So what do you do at 17?
What I'm scared of, because I've seen this proposed too, and if this happens, I'm going to be fuming on the pod after the draft, because I've seen potential scenarios that the Giants are actually considering this. I've seen draft a defensive player at 6, wait till 17, and take a player like Daniel Jones.
Oh God,
that would be bad. I would hate that.
I mean, Daniel Jones is so much like Eli Manning. When he did his interviews at the Combine, scouts and GMs said, report after report came out. Any team that he met with, oh yeah, we feel like we're talking to Eli Manning. Do you really want another Eli Manning?
I mean,
it's 2 Super Bowls.
He does give you 2 Super Bowls.
I agree with you on how good Eli used to be, because in 2015 he was flat out amazing. In 2011, I know the stats don't look like it because it was 29 touchdowns to 16 picks, but he was really good. And that 11 team, we were dead last in rushing that year and 27th in defense or 26th. That team was not a great team, I'll be honest.
Somehow you guys that still blows me away.
He's never been a stats guy. He's been a game manager. When the game comes down to clutch time, Eli delivers. That's
true.
Always been something you've been able to say about him.
He's always been more clutch than his brother. So
always.
Much more.
He's got ice in his veins. He's people call him Matty Ice or Matt Ryan Matty Ice. You should be calling Eli Manning like Eli Ice because he's like
okay.
I'd say he's one of the clutchest players in the league.
I'd also say that.
In his prime.
And
Even
yeah,
now, maybe.
I mean, against the Bears, he was pretty clutch. I mean, he did throw a couple picks, but that Bears defense led the league in takeaways. So, I mean, that makes sense. But I think that if you see, I like Daniel Jones more than most people, I have to admit, but I really would not. I don't think that would be a good move. I think that he's probably the 4th or 5th best QB in the class. Depending on how high you value Will Grier.
I'm sure that's where most people have Daniel Jones, though, 4th or 5th. Definitely not a first-round talent at all.
No, but he's going to get taken in the first round because there are so many quarterback-needy teams that, at the end of the first round, like the Patriots and the Chargers. I mean, not the Chargers as much anymore since they just signed Tyrod Taylor, but the Patriots and maybe the Packers get rid of Deshaun Kaiser because he's terrible and not the future. You draft Daniel Jones or Will Grier if they're available because we've got a shot to see 5 quarterbacks go off the board in the first round this year. Like, that's a legitimate possibility.
Is it smart for those teams to take all these 5 quarterbacks in the first? Not at all.
No.
I think teams are desperate now that they're going to reach.
Just like how the Jags paid Nick Foles that much money. You're so desperate to get someone that's even formidable to play rather than like waiting.
Quarterback is such a hard position in the NFL. But like when it comes to finding your guy, you never hit on your first go around. Never. There's exceptions like with the Packers who drafted Aaron Rodgers and sat him behind Brett Favre for 3 years, and now Aaron Rodgers is one of the best QBs in the league. Yeah. That's an exception.
The Browns are a perfect case of that. They've been trying to get that hit for the past decade and a half, and they haven't been able to do it.
Finally got it. So, speaking of the Browns, what does Odell mean for them? Does he make them legit Super Bowl contenders with that defense?
I really don't know.
It's hard to say without knowing a lot about the offensive coordinator and how they're going to use him, I guess.
Well, Freddie Kitchens, who got promoted from offensive coordinator to head coach, he has incredible chemistry with Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, like, he calling the plays?
Thomas start the season, I think. Am I right? Thomas? All right, then. So, yeah, I think that Freddie Kitchens is calling plays to start the...
Yeah. He's going to continue calling plays.
What an amazing name, by the way. Like, Freddie Kitchens, what a great name. Okay, moving past that, but when you have Jarvis Landry on one side and also can play the slot, and you have Odell on one side and also can play the slot, and you have Antonio Callaway, you have Rashad Higgins, I think. Is that his name?
Njoku.
In the backfield.
And Kareem Hunt, who they just signed too.
Yes.
Oh, that offensive personnel, that rivals the Chiefs as best in the league.
Yeah, going back to your Super Bowl claim, though, I really think it's hard to tell, especially that barely anybody on that team has postseason experience. I think NFL...
No, it's very young.
I know.
I'd say it's the youngest team in the league, right?
Yeah, I think the NFL definitely, probably the most out of the big 4 sports, is a game or a league where you have to have, or where postseason experience gives you an advantage more than any other league, because you put the Patriots against the Browns in the first round. Do the Browns have the more talented roster at the moment? Definitely, in my opinion. But
yes.
do the Patriots have the postseason experience and know what to expect when playoffs come around?
And the best coach of all time?
Yeah, exactly. I just think that the Browns' lack of experience reminds me a lot of the first year, last year, before the Super Bowl run for the Rams, like the year before that, where they were one of the best teams in the league. And they completely crapped the bed in the first round of the playoffs because they didn't have any postseason experience going against the Falcons.
Same thing with the Bears.
Yeah,
but we don't know how they're going to do this year. But I mean,
I think the Browns' lack of postseason experience is not going to allow them to win a Super Bowl this year. But definitely, I could see within the next 3 years if they keep that core together, which is still somewhat young and somewhat affordable. I think that they have a chance.
If we're gonna talk about the Super Bowl, shout out some Super Bowl predictions that you have right now. I'm gonna go first because mine's on the top of my head. I got Bears Chiefs.
Of course, you do.
Little bias, but it's gonna be a rematch because they're gonna play each other this year in Chicago, and I'm very excited for that game. I'm very excited to see Mitch pit up against Patrick Mahomes. What are your guys' Super Bowl predictions? Early, super early, way too early.
Browns Patriots.
Browns Patriots.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Except that's not a Super Bowl.
Wait, what?
That's not
Thomas,
a
is that what you just
possibility.
said?
Wait, what?
You said Browns Patriots.
Oh, never mind.
Ouch.
I gotta think.
I think it's going to be the Chiefs versus whatever team wins the NFC South.
All right, Browns Rams.
Yeah, I can't think of an NFC team right now that it could. I feel like it's very.
I'd like to say Saints, especially signing Latavius Murray as a backup to
Drew
Kamara.
Brees is gonna regress.
You think so? I think Drew Brees is
No, I think Drew Brees is gonna be mediocre at best this year.
sort of
But
like
he's
a
still
Peyton
gonna
Manning
he's
last
still gonna
season.
he's still gonna have a 70% completion percentage, and he's still gonna throw 25 touchdowns. But he's
I don't
just
think
gonna
the
be-
Saints need to light the league on fire like they used to win games though. I feel like their defense, even though it was pretty bad to start last season, it came around if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I feel like
They
you're
did.
right.
They were. I
Yeah.
still think they're one of the most talented defenses in the league. They got all the talent.
It's true, yeah. They just don't have talent at the safety position at all.
They
The
have Marcus
Rams are still
Williams.
going to be there.
Yeah, there's no reason I feel like everyone's tainted on the Rams because of the Super Bowl, but there's no reason they won't be a good team again.
Sean McVay is just gonna carry them through
They're
that
going to lose
week.
what? Sue? Who else? Not much else.
Sue and
Lamarcus Joyner.
yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I'm
Um,
scared of though is that Todd Gurley injury. I think they said he's missing cartilage in his knee.
Yeah,
He
his
has,
knee is bad. He has
What was it?
tendonitis in his knee.
That scares me a little bit. That
It's
takes
gonna
away
be
a whole dynamic of their offense. I think they'll be able to overcome it though with McVay.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's-
they'll re-sign C.J. Anderson or something to take some carries away from Gurley, let him rest a little more. But
when he gets 10 touches a game in the playoffs, like that scares me first, and then when it comes out that he has tendonitis in his knee, arthritis,
Arthritis,
sorry. That's even worse.
Yeah.
That's like he's losing mobility in his knee.
Yeah, I used to be really big on Todd Gurley, and I watched Saquon play, and I felt like I'd never seen a running back like Saquon, so I dug through the numbers. And Saquon has as many 40-yard runs in his career as Gurley did now, so I then added Elliott to Gurley, and Saquon's on pace to have more 40-yard plays in his career than those two combined by week 8 of this upcoming year.
That's
So I started thinking about running back
insane.
position, and I was thinking there might literally only be one running back in the entire league who actually matters.
I mean,
Look at it like that. No running back can create touchdowns on his own like Saquon can. I thought about Gurley and I was like, it really might just be O-line and scheme, even though he's amazing. But like,
oh yeah, it's definitely scheme.
He doesn't
That's-
have that breakaway speed.
that
Yeah.
zone run scheme that the Rams run. It's so Sean McVay. It just gets in the opponent's head because you think they're running to the outside, then they cut back up the middle, and then you think they're running outside, and then you're going to come back up the middle, but nope, they run it outside. Todd Gurley just doesn't have that second gear, and that's
I think pure talent wise, just strictly on talent, not looking at numbers, not looking at their career so far. I think Saquon's the most talented running back in the league.
I
Probably one of the-
agree. I
one of the
agree.
most talented players in the league.
I agree.
Just after his first year.
That man is insanely athletic. He's agile.
He's strong.
He's strong.
He's smart.
I mean, yeah, he's got
His
the.
vision's improved.
I wish the Giants would use him more as a downfield threat on passing, though. I feel like they're always just throwing to him in the flats. Like they never did anything creative with him in the passing game.
I mean, yeah, It's just
That's
it's
Pat Shermer's
that-
style of offense, though.
that's true. I do like when they throw to him down the field. And they lose an element of trickery because Odell Beckham throws the ball relatively well. And so now when you lose him, like, I don't know, it's just like the defenseless, like, I don't really, like, that's a huge risk for concussions to be a wide receiver, and, like, even throw over the middle. Like, if you're running Saquon on a 15-yard in route and some safety's like, oh my God, he's so good, I just want to pop him in the head. I don't want him in the game anymore. Like, that's a huge risk. And that's why when he's open in the flat and he gets, passes from Eli, maybe gets a 5 to 15-yard gain pretty much every time that he gets the ball. I mean, it's just like he's unstoppable.
If we're being honest, Saquon's probably the best receiver on the Giants roster right now.
Yep.
I'm not even that's not even an exaggeration. I think
Sorry.
he is the best.
Yeah.
He's the best receiver on the roster.
Which is sad, obviously, because
But it's also a testament how good
Shepard's
he
a
is.
great receiver.
I love Shepard. I
He's
just
a
don't
slot
think
guy.
he's an outside receiver. He's a slot
Shepard's
guy.
my
Yeah.
favorite receiver of all time.
okay, Thomas. He's okay. He's not a deep threat. He's
He's a
As-
slot guy.
He's a slot guy. He's gonna get you. He's gonna run at most a post. That's his deepest route.
I do
Top
like
slot
that
guy
he's
in
a
the-
good downfield blocker. Like on a lot of those big Saquon runs, Shepard's
is.
there
Oh,
making
yeah.
the block.
He's small, but he's strong. He's got that sneaky strength that you want in a receiver. And I think he's one of the best slot receivers in the league. But last year they had him playing outside a lot, which was outside his element, and his numbers were down, and it was evident that he wasn't comfortable outside. So
I think that
playing him in the slot, surrounded him with two receivers that could play outside and
yeah.
go deep, spread out the field, it's going to benefit him.
I think that if you place him with a quarterback who can time slants correctly, like a Dwayne Haskins or a Josh Rosen, not saying that Eli can't, it's just like even these rookie quarterbacks are going to be better at it because they threw a lot of slants in college. It's just the product of that offensive system that they ran in UCLA and Ohio State respectively. I just feel like they would do so much better. I feel like the Eli Manning's deep ball has always been his strength in the passing game. It's never been
Besides, like the last 5 years.
yeah, I mean, yeah. It's never been the let's take little chunks and just grind our way down the field with run plays, but they're not run plays. They're just 5-yard checkdowns. Like, that's not his forte. I mean, any quarterback can do that, but I just feel that
He's smart. That's it.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know what the Giants are going to do. I don't know what they're going to do for a quarterback. And they could go one of two ways, and I think that they might be successful both ways. I feel like Giants fans are so sad right now about Odell. But
I can confirm.
yeah,
that.
I feel like there's a lot more to be happy about than you should be sad about right now. You got the most talented running back in the league. You got a high draft pick. You got a second first-round pick.
Yeah, but you know what? Why should we be happy when we could have had all that plus one of the best receivers in the league?
But I mean, I guess you did
Unless
just
anybody
pay
else,
him.
does anybody else have any last minute things to talk about the Giants before I say my final fact?
I think we're good. Go ahead.
All right. So after the Odell trade and after this upcoming season, the Giants don't have a single receiver signed onto the roster after next year. That's not good.
Free agency is going to be fun for you guys.
We get to re-sign Shepard. Odell was the only receiver signed past next year.
Does
so
Shepard have an option, or is he
he
just
was a
going?
second-round pick. Probably not. I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure how that second-round stuff works.
Anything you want to say, James, before we close this out?
Giants. I'm always optimistic as a Giants fan. I'm pretty upset. One guy I'm kind of hoping to see they utilize more this year. Hopefully, maybe it's his own fault that he wasn't utilized in the past. Is Ingram more? I just feel like a
Yeah.
tight end that fast should be much more of a downfield threat. Should help us stretch the defense. And I'm hoping for a little more out of Shermer. I thought he wasn't the most creative play caller, I'll be honest.
Well, we thank you so much for coming, James. Check this man out.
Thank you so much.
Jiedel on YouTube. Subscribe. Watch all his videos. They're very good, very entertaining. He is a member of 2Hype. It's what would you say? Basketball
lifestyle.
lifestyle organization that all lives in a house in California. They're really cool. You should check them out. You should check James out. And thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me. Peace.
Peace.